Hello, Rotary District 6460. This is Ryan Byers, and over the course of the past 11 and a half months, it has been my privilege to serve as your district governor. During my term, I've had the opportunity to travel all over West Central Illinois, sharing with you stories of what makes Rotary the awesome organization that it is. However, there is one story that I've not shared until just now, and that is the story of how I myself became a Rotarian. I joined our Rotary Club in Jacksonville in 2008, but I don't believe that I truly became a Rotarian until 2011. It was during that year that I realized the depth and the breadth of everything that our organization could accomplish. You see, in 2011, our club decided that it was going to hold a service project for the benefit of the local homeless shelter. We provided new bedding, we provided new shelving, we provided new furniture, and there was a work day during which Rotarians were going to install those amenities. However, Rotarians were not the only ones there working that day. We were joined by individuals who, at the time, were staying at the homeless shelter. And they worked with us side by side, shoulder to shoulder, and as often happens in those situations, there were some conversations struck up. I learned some things that day. I learned that nobody was staying at that homeless shelter because they wanted to. Nobody was staying at that homeless shelter because they were stupid. Nobody was staying at that homeless shelter because they were lazy. What I learned was that people were staying at that homeless shelter because they were good, honest, hardworking citizens who unfortunately had had one or two negative circumstances come their way that had unraveled their financial lives. Not a lot of people will know this about me, but I grew up in a blue-collar household. My father worked construction, my mother was a Head Start pre-K teacher, and there were some times that money was tight. In fact, there were some times that we were probably one large medical bill or one other unfortunate happening away from winding up in some financial difficulties ourselves. I realized that it was entirely within the realm of possibilities that had things played out slightly differently, I could have been staying at a shelter similar to the one that I was working at. I realized that I had lived what some people would call a privileged life, what some people would call a blessed life, and I developed the opinion that as a result of that, I have an obligation to give back in order to make things better for others. I also realized I had an excellent tool through which to do that. That tool is Rotary. And that project at the homeless shelter, which led me to those realizations, was a project funded by a grant from our Rotary district. The monies for those grants come from your contributions to the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation. Contributions are made, and then 3 years later, a portion of the contributions return to us at the district for grants, scholarships, and other good works. And I sit here today because 2 weeks away from the end of the Rotary year, we sit about $19,000 short of our goal for giving to the annual fund of the Rotary Foundation, which may impact our ability to do some of those works come 2025. As a result, I'm making a request of you to look within yourselves, to look within your hearts, and see if you have anything that you can contribute between now and June 30th. It's as simple as going to Rotary.org and clicking the donate button at the top of the page, or if you prefer to write a check, you can have a conversation with me and I can get you the information on where it ought to be routed. I truly, after 11 and a half months of talking to you, believe that in this part of the world, we have some of the finest individuals that you could ever hope to meet. Let's go ahead and let's prove that one more time. Let's make up that gap in our funding, let's meet that goal, and let's make sure that for years to come in Rotary District 6460, we are serving to change lives. Thank you.